Live on the Mounjaro, it's Friday Night Live with your host, David Knapp.
Thank you, Clap Track. Happy Friday night. Thank you for being here. So excited to be here. I am loving these Friday Night Lives. Are you loving these Friday Night Lives? I hope so. I'm having a blast doing them. So even if nobody shows up, I will talk to the open internet air gladly because I am a talker and that's what I do. I hope you all have had a great week. I wanted to start off at the top of the broadcast and just ask all of my fellow Mounjaris, whoever you are, whatever you call yourself, to lift up a couple people in prayer in our community if you're praying people. Mrs. Bell, who's usually here on the stream, had a surgery today and she's recovering. So prayers for a speedy recovery for her, as well as Michelle Hess's mother, Michelle Hess from BJ David's Discord. She was one of the charter members of the Friday Night Live crew. She was on several of them when we first got these live, and we hope to have her on again soon. Her mother is back in the hospital with some complications, some health complications that she's been fighting. So prayers for her as well. So I'm sure that they would, hey, Mrs. Bell's here. Hey, welcome today. I hope that you're on the mend and glad that you're here. That makes me happy. So yeah, happy Friday. Happy Friday, everyone. We've got Chrissy moderating for us again. So thank you to Chrissy. And if you have questions for the Q&A at the end of the stream, you can put them in the chat. Just put a Q in front of it. That way we know to kind of make a note that you had a question, and we'll try to get to them. Wanted to just kind of tee up a little bit of the rest of the night and how it's going to go. We've obviously got Fake News Friday coming up, where we cover just some of the bogus news that goes around in the different forums and online. I've got one of those to share with you tonight. We've also got a What's Fresh segment where we'll cover what's new in the whole world of Man on the Mounjaro. And so we'll share a little bit there. And then what I'm most excited for, we've been calling it our Hot Topic segment. Our Hot Topic is actually a hot YouTube channel tonight. Instead, we've got the artist formerly known as Jess in the PNW, currently known as JessInProcess, with her recent rebrand of her channel, which I just love, and we'll get into that. She sat down for an interview with me, and it was so cool to get to know another fellow Mounjaro traveler, YouTuber extraordinaire. So we'll be playing that for you. And then, of course, we're going to bring back in Chrissy later in the broadcast, who is my cousin who does the moderating here. And she is going to share a little bit about her journey on Wecovy. And I'm sure we'll just rap back and forth for a little bit while we also take a look at what your questions are and answer those. So that's kind of what's on tap for tonight. Excited to get that started with you, but wanted to just give a couple of shout outs to some of the people in the chat. We've got Jess, Tanya, BJ, Sheena, Mimi, thanks for joining. Appreciate you coming. Elizabeth, Arthur, Susie Q, YouTube, Mrs. Bell, T. Royal, Chrissy, of course. Thank you all for joining. Abby, welcome to the stream. Bonnie, welcome. Thank you all for being the best part of this community and this channel. Just appreciate each and every one of you so very much. So we're going to get into a little bit of what's fresh this week. So there's a lot of fresh stuff going on here on Man on the Mounjaro, and wanted to just share a couple of things with you. So the first thing I want to share is we hit 1,500 subs this week, which is great. I feel like this channel just continues to grow and grow and grow. And it's so much thanks to each and every one of you who are joining on these live streams, who are watching the videos that I put out and sharing them, and following my request to you to give back to the channel by liking, commenting, and subscribing, and sharing this into the forums that you are in for Mounjaro. You are helping this thing grow, and I say it many, many times on these lives. I say it in my videos. You are the best part of this channel, and I appreciate you so very much. Put out a quick video today. So in BJ Davis's Discord, there was some conversation going on that I jumped in on, but I thought that I would make a brief explainer video about the drug manufacturer savings cards. And so I did a little video, so you can check that out if you're not sure how they work just generally. Copay cards from drug manufacturers, that's a good little explainer video. I did this very crude drawing, which is just awful, but I think it did an okay job explaining how they kind of work, and also coined a new phrase, Mounjaro. So we're all getting on those horrible people that are taking Mounjaro off label, right? Not. So yeah, so that's kind of a couple of things that are new. The other thing that I wanted to show you as well was I did another blog post this week, and it was kind of building off of a phrase from Melissa in BJ's Discord, just talking about how Mounjaro is fixing some broken things, in my body's chemistry, but also in my brain. So if you want to pop over to the new website, manontheweb.com, and check that out. There have also been some new recent contributions to the forum, some articles shared. Sue YouTube, Sue the Dude, thank you for sharing in there as well. So there's just some stuff to check out over there. So that is definitely what is fresh this week. So the other thing that we like to do on the stream right off the top is we like to debunk a little bit of fake news.
You are fake news.
So one of the things that I keep seeing all over the place is this. I've seen YouTube videos promoting this thought, and I've seen it in forums, Facebook, Reddit, that Eli Lilly is being sued over Mounjaro, or sued over the Mounjaro coupon. That is very much fake news. Eli Lilly is in fact being sued along with Novo Nordisk and some other pharmacies, but that is over insulin, not Mounjaro. So it literally has nothing to do with Mounjaro. It does have to do with insulin, and a complaint that they are manipulating the price of insulin. I've got no take or opinion on that, just that it's not about Mounjaro. And Eli Lilly, in my opinion, certainly is not the enemy here. They have given us medication that is changing our lives. We all have right and reason to be frustrated at the accessibility end of it, but that's more about the system that we're in than it is about the company that makes the drug. That's my commentary on that. So, is Eli Lilly being sued over Mounjaro? That is fake news. Are they being sued? Yes, they are. But drug companies are being sued pretty much perpetually. So that is what is new. I want to jump back over to the chat, catch up with some folks who have joined up since I got off the top here. Ken Lee is here. Ken, welcome to the stream, buddy. I hope you're feeling better. Glad to see that you're here. Kelly, welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining, Kelly. Appreciate you being here. And Old Sweeney too. Love the information you share with us. I've learned so much from your channel. I really appreciate comments like that. You don't even know how much I appreciate comments like that. I put a lot of time, a lot of energy, effort into this stream, and it just really helps me going when I can hear from people and know that what they are getting out of the channel is something that is beneficial for them. So thank you for thanking me. I appreciate that. And Mimi also said, congrats on the growing platform. So this is actually something that I forgot to mention back when I was talking about what's fresh. One of the biggest thing that's fresh here, and I'm not sure what the etiquette is on this, but I'm excited and I want to share it with you because you've helped me get there. I've now reached the level with YouTube of being able to monetize my videos. Now it's a whole process in its own right. So I'm not making anything yet, but I'm there, and I'm to the point where I have the ability to monetize the channel. So I'm going through that process here. So hopefully I'll be getting a little bit back for the time and effort that I put into the channel. If you're a fellow YouTuber, even Jess and I talked a little bit about this in our sit down. It's a ton of work. It's a ton of effort, and that's not to complain, but it is to say that, those of us who put a tremendous amount of time and effort in, it is a bonus that we can, kind of get something on the back end. So that's a really exciting thing. And I really appreciate each and every one of you for helping me get to that point, for watching the videos, for sharing them with your friends. You have helped us get to this point. So thank you. Thank you very much. So without further ado, we've got a segment that we usually reserve for a specific topic. The topic this week is Jess in process. But we're going to roll the bumper anyway because I enjoy it. This week's Hot Topic. Hot Topic this week, compliments of Jess in the Pacific Northwest, who is known on YouTube as JessInProcess. I am going to go ahead and roll that video. I am so excited to have her on the stream. So excited that we were able to make the time, and she was able to carve out a little time in her busy life to do this for me. If you have not seen her channel, it's at JessInProcess. Check her out, and you'll get to know her a little bit here. To the stream.
Thank you.
So, Jess, I've followed your videos since I started Mounjaro, and perhaps not everybody else that's watching this has. So that's kind of why I like to do this, to help other people that follow me find out about you and vice versa. So can you tell everyone who's watching tonight a little bit about your channel, when you started it, and why you started it?
Sure. Well, my channel is called JessInProcess. It started out as Jess in the PNW, or Pacific Northwest, but I changed the name recently because I feel like I am in process and trying to improve not only my weight, but many other aspects of my life and who I am. So anyway, that's the reason for the name change. But I started Mounjaro back in the beginning of October. I think it was the first week. And I started my channel maybe later that week or the following week. I had actually been watching Ben Davis, or BJ Davis, on YouTube, and I told him that I had always wanted to do a YouTube channel and I wanted to document my weight loss, but I was really nervous. And he said, just go for it. If you start it, let me know and I'll be your first subscriber. And he was. So that's why that was the kick in the butt I needed to start my channel. And I try and upload once a week. They're mostly just like sit down and chat, but I do try and, I mean, I had never done any editing or anything before. So I try and kind of teach myself something new every time. I think it was my last video, I actually switched editing software. So now I'm kind of learning a new software. The one I was using was more difficult and not as beginner friendly. And so it was taking me hours.
I think that's for a lot of people that just consume YouTube videos, don't make them. They don't understand how much time into it. Like I did a video, I hit, I think either 500 or 1,000. I think it was 1,000 subscribers. And I'm like, okay, I'm celebrating this, but I also want people to know that this was earned. I put a ton of work into these videos. So I tried to like lay it out for people just to give them an idea of the amount of effort it takes to put content out there.
Yeah, I remember that video that you did. And yeah, it takes a lot. And I know you're working a full-time job. I'm working a full-time job. I mean, you still have kids at home and I don't anymore. But yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot sometimes, but I'm enjoying it. And if the information I'm putting out there is helping anyone, that just is such an added benefit. But I think the real benefit will be looking back at these videos when hopefully, fingers crossed, I hit goal weight.
Absolutely. You're saying a lot of things that are sparking thoughts in my head. So to your point that you made about BJ Davis encouraging you to start, I just think that's such a great example of I think the importance that his channel has played to the community as a whole. We all have our own little communities, subsets of communities, but he's kind of brought everybody together in that Discord, and he's just the perfect guy to have done it. I call him the King Mounjarian. He's the king. He really is. And he's probably encouraged a lot of people to start. He's definitely encouraged me along the way as well. One of the things that you also talked about when you said that you had changed the name from Jess in the PNW to JessInProcess, I really, really like that, because it is a process. And you had your most recent video, I think you had titled it maybe Progress Over Perfection, maybe not titled it, but you had a little blurb about it. And I really like that, because when I think about my weight loss journey, I think, like, what even is perfection? Like, I'm not even sure what that is. Like, there's so much that's been improperly wired in my brain about eating and weight gain and diabetes control. It's like, I'm not even sure what perfection is, but I definitely know that getting better every day and striving in that direction is really what it's all about. So I really appreciated that you had made mention of that and made that, kind of wove that into the name of your channel.
Yeah, JessInProgress was already taken.
Jess in Progress?
Yeah.
That's what you were trying to get.
That would have been nice, but I think JessInProcess is, I don't know. I was going for a rhyming.
I like it. JessInProcess. It rolls off the tongue. I said in my live stream the other night, whenever I used to see your screen name before the PNW, I always read the PNW like Pinwa. So Jess in the Pinwa. And now I read it JessInProcess. I don't know. I get these goofy things, nicknames in my head, and that's just how I am. But I love it. I love the change. I also just love that you seem like a really genuine, caring individual, and I think that really comes through in your videos, that you're just a good human. And I think people are drawn to that, and I think that's a really, why you've seen success and growth in your channel. And so I'm excited as you continue on to watch you grow, both in the editing aspect of it, but also just the journey as well, which you've been so open with to share. I just think it's great.
Thank you. That means a lot. Especially, I mean, I see all that you do, and I think I made mention on your last live that it really astounds me, all the work that you're doing to help people stay on these medications, even if it's not Mounjaro, even though you don't have to do any of that because you're type 2. So, I mean, you'll get it, you know.
I appreciate you acknowledging that. I think that's really been a thing that's evolved about my channel. Is like, I started it because I felt like there was maybe a gap of informative stuff, especially from the male perspective, which I'm kind of learning that's kind of across the board with YouTube as it relates to health stuff. But
and also from type 2 diabetics, most of the channels that you see, people are just using it off label. So I think it's really important to see the effects on a diabetic person, because I know that you haven't experienced necessarily weight loss like some of us taking it off label have.
Yeah. That's one of those things. I actually posted a blog post today too, kind of along the lines of it's frustrating because a lot of people lose weight really fast with this. I haven't lost as fast, but when I sit down and analyze it, like, I'm seeing success that I haven't seen in years and years and years. So on the evolution of the channel, it really evolved because I felt like as a type 2 diabetic, I had somewhat of a perspective that I could bring that was different than what other people were saying. It's like, I wish I would have had the chance to not become type 2 diabetic. I wish I would have had a medicine like Mounjaro, to be able to prevent maybe, or at least slow the progression of insulin resistance into full-on metabolic disorder and type 2 diabetes. I just think it's important to advocate not just for yourself, but for all the people who can benefit from it. So it's a touchy subject with some, but it's definitely been a direction that I've taken the channel that I didn't necessarily expect when I first started these videos. You're not type 2 diabetic. So how are you navigating the anxiety of like the month to month getting your fill? And
I am not having much anxiety over it. There initially, when they very first changed the coupon, I did have some anxiety, but I was still earlier on in my journey at that time, because I think it happened like maybe mid-November or somewhere around then. And I had just started the beginning of October. So I was still like going into the Facebook group. There was a support group for people on Mounjaro Facebook group, and I was going into that daily. And so reading other people's posts about just about them being super anxious was making me very anxious, and I had to stop. Yeah, I am still a member of that group, but I don't have I haven't had Facebook on my phone for a couple of years now, and I've stopped going onto it every day at home. So I do still hop on maybe once a week or twice a week, and I'll see the posts pop up on my just feed, but it's not, I don't go into the group anymore and read all the posts. And I kind of figure, I mean, kind of my motto is if you can't change it, then there's no use worrying about it. And if you can change it, then you need to and not worry about it. So I'm not a real big worrier. That's
good.
I don't know. The reason people like me, I think in general and at work, is I'm just kind of like cool, calm, and collected.
Good. That's a good position to have in current Mounjaro climate.
Yeah. I mean, if it goes away, then there's nothing I can do about it. And I really hope that doesn't happen, but I've never had an issue with my pharmacy getting it. Not any this whole time.
That's awesome.
Except when it was on back order, but I've never had them like ask me if I was type 2 or question my coupon or anything like that. It was just the one time when it was back ordered and my doctor bumped me up to the 10 milligram and I skipped over the 7.5.
Do you have a plan if the rug got pulled out from under you, God forbid, but if it did, do you have a plan?
I've been filling my prescription every 3 weeks, which you're allowed to do using the coupon. And so I do have a little bit of
cushion
extra.
Good.
Yeah. So there's that. And then there is a compound pharmacy that rates really high, actually in my same city here, not too far from Seattle. And I did reach out to them on Facebook to see if they did the compound of the trizepatide or the semaglutide, and they didn't respond back to me on Facebook. So I'm probably gonna give them a call if I start becoming worried about it, or if it comes time where the coupon ends, which is in June. Yeah, then I'll reach out to them and see how much that's gonna cost.
Yeah, awesome. That's, I think it's important for those who have who rely on the coupon for Mounjaro who are not type 2. I just think it's important to have a game plan. That's another thing that we've really focused with on this channel, especially in the last couple of weeks, is just okay, the reality is the coupon sucks, and even if you have the first one, you're kind of at the mercy of how you're treated at the pharmacy. And pharmacies vary from, even a single pharmacy can vary from person to person that you're interacting with. So I just think that it's important that people are armed with the important information that there are options. I think you've done a really good service to yourself, and that's nothing I've ever shared on the channel. But yeah, refill it every 21 days or every 23, whatever it is. You don't have to wait a full 30 days to refill your script. Get in there and refill it. That's a great idea. And then just knowing the backup options of the compound pharmacies, talk to your doctor. They usually have places that they can, write scripts for, and places that they trust. And then there's also the Wecovy and Ozempic factor.
Right.
There are other options too that, potentially you could actually get some insurance coverage on for something like Wecovy if you're going for weight loss. There's other options too, like Saxenda, which is also a GLP-1. And a lot of people are coupling those drugs that are not quite as strong as Mounjaro with something like phentermine as well. So thank you for sharing your plan there. One other thing that I definitely wanted to ask you about, just because I've had a couple of people on the stream that are guys that have YouTube channels. You're, I think, actually the first gal that I've had on that has a YouTube channel, an active YouTube channel. I think it's more difficult for a woman to share her journey on YouTube. There's just more challenges. I feel like I've seen screenshots of comments and things like that, and I've had like a couple here and there, but I'm like, they're more just like arrogant or unintelligent statements and not just overtly mean. Am I on the right track there, or is that in my head?
I think that you are. Honestly, I have not had that many negative comments. I think I've only had one comment on one of my shorts that I did about, it was a short that I did just about walking on my lunch break. And I think he posted something along the lines of, after she got done doing that, she treated herself to a dozen donuts. And it doesn't bother me at all. But I've heard of other people having a lot worse comments. I don't know if you have experienced this, but when my kids were growing up, every once in a while when they'd get in trouble or something, they would say, "You're the worst mom ever." And it just put a big old smile on my face. And I'm like, yes, I am doing something right.
That's right attitude.
Yeah, because it's, I mean, a parent's supposed to be a parent, but that's almost like the same feeling that I got when I read that comment that he left, is like, he knows nothing about me. Like, he can say whatever he wants. The way that a comment like that would probably really hurt me is if it came from someone I knew.
Sure. Yeah. And not just some keyboard junkie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think, to kind of wrap it up, your channel, your persona, your presence here on YouTube, I think is part of what makes it great. You're a kind-hearted, sincere person, and you represent, I think, what many people enjoy about this community that we've kind of created here on YouTube. And I think that's why people are drawn to you. So thank you for coming on the stream, and thank you for sharing a little bit about your channel. It's JessInProcess, and that will be linked in the description below. Jess, are there any other social media call outs that you want to share?
I had an Instagram, and I haven't changed my name there yet. So I think I can't change it until the beginning of February, but then that channel or that page will also be JessInProcess.
Okay.
Right now, still Jess in the PNW.
Okay.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. I try and hop into the Discord a couple times a week and say hi. But
it's usually me saying, "Can we do an interview today?"
Yeah. And I did hop onto your website. Congratulations on your website and your forum that you have there. So yeah, that's really cool. I'll try and pop in there too every once in a while.
Yeah. I hope that it's I hope that it can be supplemental to something like BJ's Discord. Like I told him when I launched it, I was like, I'm not trying to compete with what you're doing here, and I'm not going anywhere. I love the Discord, and I've spent a lot of time promoting it on my channel here because I just think it's so great. But there's just other people that just aren't ever going to go on Discord because they don't know it, they're not comfortable with it, but they'll go to a website. So hoping to bring some people over there that maybe are a little averse to going to another social media platform. But thank you for bringing that up. I appreciate it. Jess, thank you so much for joining. I hope that you have a great rest of your day here, and appreciate you making time and bringing our schedules together.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, take care. It was great to meet you.
All right. You too.
Bye-bye. Jess in Process. What a joy it was to meet her. And I'm just really enjoying this process of meeting all these other Mounjaris, folks on weight loss journey, some of the other folks that I've met who are on a type 2 diabetes journey like myself, just these other people who are benefiting so much from what Mounjaro has to offer. And we just thank Jess for coming on the stream today. Jess in Process. How awesome is she? Now, if you've watched any of her videos, you would imagine in your mind how Jess is like as a person. And Jess is 100% who you would imagine she is. She's super sweet, super chill. And if you haven't checked out her videos, you are missing out. Her videos are so awesome. Please check her channel out. It should be linked in the description below. I'm not sure it was in the thumbnail before, but once this is actually published, it's there. But it's real easy to remember. It's at JessInProcess, all one word. Make sure you check her channel out. It's so great. She's what I like having people on my stream that have really different channels from mine. So mine has been more informative, and I've been less vulnerable probably up until recently about my own journey, just because it takes a lot. And that's kind of what I was getting at with, I feel like the gals on YouTube really put themselves out there. And that is something that I respect, because I don't know if I want to say that. But they just put the whole journey out there. And I just respect that so much. And Jess is one of them. And she's one that I've seen and followed from the time that I started checking out Mounjaro videos on YouTube. So Jess, kudos to you. Thank you for coming on the stream. Thank you for making this channel better by virtue of coming on this channel. I just really appreciate you coming on. A couple things that she touched on in that video that I thought were worth repeating or reiterating here. The first thing is on the topic of the anxiety of the month-to-month getting your medication. Now, I'm a type 2 diabetic. But even before I got my last fill, I just figured out, like, I was dead set, determined, hard-headed. When I put my mind to something, I just do it. And I got 3 months of Mounjaro. But before that, the first couple months I was on it, I was like, that was all that was on my mind, was making sure I got that fill. And I'm type 2 diabetic, and I have a tier 1 copay card. So I can imagine the folks who are using it off label and it's doing wonders for them like it is for me, and just that month-to-month anxiety. She brought up a great point. If you're feeding off of other people's anxiety, get them off your feed. Just get them off your feed. And that, this stream included. If what you're watching and what you're consuming, whether it be on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, is feeding that level of anxiety, that's not helpful. So get it out of your life. And I thought that was great information and a great reality check that Jess offered there from her own experience. I thought that was awesome. The other thing is about having a plan. So if you're kind of in that mode of the month to month, like, don't let yourself become overrun with anxiety. Have a plan. And a lot of what I've tried to do on this stream is give you resources so that kind of what some of those options are. So if you watched last Friday's Friday Night Live, it was probably the best Friday Night Live of this show's young history, barring this one. Thank you, Jess. But it brought on a couple mid-level healthcare providers who said, here's what we're doing with our patients, and here's what they're doing, and you can do the same thing. Have a plan. But one thing that Jess brought up that I thought was like super, super smart that I've never mentioned on my channel before is get it filled every 3 weeks. You can get your prescription filled every 3 weeks and I'm not sure if it's 3 weeks or 23 days, but it's definitely not 30. So you can get yourself each month an extra week cushion, and after 4 months, you got yourself a whole month cushion. So be doing that. Be taking those steps. Thank you, Jess, for sharing that little tidbit. I thought that was awesome. And I hope that that is something super useful for those of you who are tuning in tonight. 21 days, Jess says. So, hey, get her done. Get it filled every 21 days and build that cushion for yourself, because we know one of the things that I repeat over and over on this channel, brighter days are ahead. Brighter days are ahead. Brighter days are ahead. This medication is on tap to be approved for weight loss, hopefully in June. Maybe not, but certainly this year. I mean, it's one of those, you can pretty much take it to the bank. And once that happens, it will be released under a different brand name, but it'll still be the active ingredient tirzepatide. It might just be called Mounjaro instead of Mounjaro. Whatever they call it is whatever they call it, but it will probably come with its own card, and Lily will have probably learned a lot of lessons from this last card, and hopefully it will be a lot easier to use. That was a mouthful, but thank you again, Jess, for joining the stream. Appreciate it. You just added so much value to this channel just by virtue of coming on here and being a part of it, so I appreciate you so very much. The next thing that I want to do, so we've been talking a lot on this channel about let's say the rug's completely pulled out from underneath you and Mounjaro is not an option. I like to say you've been kicked off the moon, right? Or you're just starting out and you can't get it. It's just not an option financially, whatever. You can't get it for whatever reason. There are some other options, semaglutide being probably the next best in line. And semaglutide has two versions of it, Ozempic, which is approved for type 2 diabetes, and Wecovy, which is exactly the same medication in a very slightly higher dose, which is already approved for weight loss intervention by the FDA. It's an on-label medication that you can take right now. It's a once-weekly injection, just like Mounjaro. And I have somebody who's very near and dear to my heart, my cousin Chrissy, who's been coming on to this. Well, first of all, she's been doing me this favor of just like on the fly modding this channel on Friday Night Lives. So she's just like giving me her Friday nights for the last 3 or 4 weeks, which has just been so nice of her. That's a good cousin right there. But I'm going to bring her into the stream. Chrissy, welcome to the stream. How you doing?
Good. I had to come off mute.
Well,
it's just my way of getting to hang out with you.
Well, hey, whatever it takes. Sometimes it takes weird things to bring us together, even when we're family. To give you all a little bit of a background, Chrissy and I have been on these like parallel journeys with just struggling with our health over our, honestly, our childhood into our adult lives. But more pressing the older we've gotten and as we've added children to our lives and other things that are really important to stay healthy for. And Chrissy has, she's been on a bit of a journey most recently with I'll let you tell the story real briefly again for everybody watching, just what you lost and what you've put back on and kind of where you're at now. And
yeah, I was health coaching with a company called Optavia, which is a great program. Lost 86 pounds, ended up gaining like 76 back over the last year, just through stress and bad decisions. And, we can talk ourselves off a cliff real fast, right? And then just trying to go back on keto, didn't work. Just bouncing around, just wanting to be normal, like, can I just be normal and not weigh 300 pounds? No, the answer is no, I cannot. So Dave starts making his videos and talking to me at Christmas and all the things. And then I don't even know how that ended up happening a couple weeks ago. It was just like, I really want to do this. I'm serious. Let's get it done. He texts me a link and here we are. I'm on the tail end of my second week on Wecovy.
Some people might call it serendipitous. I would call it God's great plan and God's sovereignty in our lives. But you and I got together on Christmas, and I probably came off as a bit of a psychopath. Not probably came off. I definitely was, because even in the moment, I'm like sitting at the Christmas dinner table. And I'm like, Mounjaro. And Chrissy's a registered nurse, so everything I'm telling her is not anything she hasn't heard before, but she's never heard it from somebody who's probably that excitable about it. And actually, we have an aunt too that bopped her head in, and she works at a weight loss clinic here in Iowa, and she goes, "Oh yeah, that's really great if you can get it." And that was kind of her contribution. But she's like, "Yeah, our nurses are coming in and they're getting on it themselves, and they're coming in 30 pounds lighter and blah 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 blah." So I think that like it was just great timing, because around Christmas time, I had this passion and fire underneath me. The channel was hot, and I was doing videos every other day. And
I had 70 extra pounds.
you and me both. Except I've got about 100 extra pounds. But yeah, so Chrissy ended up reaching out, kind of the time that she. After Christmas, and maybe a couple weeks passed after that, and you reached out and you're like, okay, let's, what do you got? And I had just been connected with the gals, Angie and Jenny, from the weight loss clinic over in Nebraska, which, quick plug for that. They're able to help patients in Iowa and Nebraska. And I saw a post today from Angie that said she's now licensed in North Dakota. So she can now take patients in North Dakota. So if you're in North Dakota, Iowa, or Nebraska, I realize that probably represents probably me and you. But if there's anybody out there who is in Iowa, Nebraska, or North Dakota, you can reach out to those gals. Go back to the video that we did. I posted, they were the Friday Night Live feature from last week, but then I also reposted their interview. It's got a pink background. It's really easy to find. Go into the description of that, and it's got all their information in it, and you can reach out to them. But Chrissy reached out to Angie, and Angie and Chrissy work together, doctors and patients. Chrissy is the best advocate and the best expert in herself and her own history and her own health. And Angie is an expert in medicine, and they came to the decision to put Chrissy on Wecovy. And so Chrissy is on Wecovy, which is also a GLP-1, as is a GLP-1 agonist, as is Mounjaro. It's a once weekly shot, as is Mounjaro. Mounjaro acts a little bit differently by also acting on the GIP, but both had similar results in the SURMOUNT trials for weight loss. So, Chrissy, now you are roughly 2 weeks in, a little bit shy of 2 weeks, if my math is right.
Right.
Tell us about where you are at and what you've experienced.
So week 1, I think I was nauseous twice. I mean, I don't know if you guys know about Wecovy. I hear, all about the Mounjaro stuff, but Wecovy starts at 0.25 and the max is 2.4. So Angie did a really good job of preparing me and gave me some Zofran for nausea. I haven't actually used it. I might have a really strong stomach though, but yeah, nothing that I did read somewhere. If you just eat small meals, it'll keep the nausea at bay, and just frequently if you get nauseous. So I just carry a little like granola bar at work, and if I need it, I take a couple bites. And I've been putting protein in my coffee. But week 1, I try to not to weigh myself very often, because I mean that can really be the thief of joy, and your body will, especially if you're a woman, fluctuate water weight every day. You can be up and down, different. So week 1 I was down 3.6 pounds, which might not sound like a lot to some people, but it was huge for me because the scale hasn't moved that much in a week in a long time. I'm trying not to weigh myself this week too, because like I said, the first week I just focused on intuitive eating, and this week I am trying to incorporate some more of those healthier habits. And I definitely know that I do need to keep up on my water because I feel better. My body just, it functions so much better when I drink more water. Also the dry mouth. I don't know if that's a thing on Mounjaro, but
Dry mouth is definitely a thing when you're doing an hour-long video. Like, I've been slamming my pop here. I should have water, but my pop is completely empty now, and I'm like one of those type of deals. Okay, so I was responding to a comment. Melissa had mentioned that Ozempic is 0.25, 0.5, 1 milligram, and 2, and Wecovy is 0.25, 0.5, 1 milligram, 1.7, and then 2.4. So she has been on both, and she has shared successes with both. Dry mouth is a huge thing on Mounjaro, she said. Miss Tapman, I had seen earlier in the stream that she may be waffling on between Mounjaro and the semaglutide because of insurance stuff. She said insurance covers Wecovy. Ms. Tapman, I just wanted to pause and say you are exactly why we are doing this right now, because there's a lot of people in your situation. And this is also why I've shared it into a lot of the forums on Facebook. If you're joining us on Facebook tonight, because there's just countless people who are like, they've been kicked off the moon and they're looking for another option. And this Chrissy is helping us understand, like, this, we can be successful. Chrissy, can you say again in just shy of 2 weeks how many pounds you've lost?
well, confirmed 3.6.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to keep it a weekly thing because stress and cortisol levels, everything can come into play with that. So
3.6 pounds in what I think is probably like 10 or 11, 12 days.
But like over 2 inches.
Wow. That's amazing.
I don't know if you guys do the 360 Me app. It's
Never heard of
super
it.
easy.
I bet.
Oh my gosh, it scans your body versus having to actually measure all of it. And it's
Is it
probably
like
not as accurate measurement wise. I don't think it is, but it will, from your first scan to your next scan, it will be accurate to it. So it doesn't matter what your actual measurements, you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
I think so. Yeah.
So
I'm tracking with you. And that's called what again?
360 Me.
360
And
Me.
it's like THREESIXTY.
Yeah,
Me.
Mel said, Dave, me 360, dude, get it.
Me 360. Sorry, my bad.
I think when you said that, I was like, that sounds faintly familiar. I pop in and out of BJ Davis's Discord. Like, I don't want to admit how many times a day I pop.
Yeah, where I got it.
But I know I've heard that. So yeah, it's only semi-accurate, Melissa said. I know that when I go to the doctor, I get, you're going to know because you're a nurse, but I grab the handles and it reads all the things and tells me how much visceral fat and all that stuff that I have.
And my scale does that too if I don't wear socks.
Okay.
I don't know why that. I always wear socks and I don't care. I don't know. I don't care how much water weight or muscle mass. I mean, I do and I don't.
Yeah.
But like I said, I know that like it measured my waist slightly bigger, but if I'm standing in the same place every day and it's scanning me in the same position and wearing roughly the same outfit like women usually do, sports bras and leggings, it's going to give you an accurate.
That's what I wear around the house, just to be clear.
Right. I figured. So
it's strictly for comfort.
Mainly just the sports bra, right?
It's just for support.
The sports bro.
But yeah, I use this Renfo scale. I don't like report the Renfo information on my channel because it's not the scale I started with, and the scale that I started with and the Renfo scale don't agree. So I go with the one that I started with. But I do that, and it does keep track of all that stuff, which I think is mildly important. I'm not sure that there's as much fluctuation in short periods of time, even month to month, as people think there are. Like I did a quick short you were saying that I acted all wild and crazy on it, where I was like, my shirt's fitting looser. Like that was a big win for me. That was a non-scale victory, something that I don't usually focus on, but did because the scale was not behaving this week, even though I hadn't been eating I hadn't been eating that much. And so, it was a big win for me to pull out those shirts that were like a mile away from fitting just months ago. And like, they were baggy. And that was a huge win for me. And so like, I didn't really care at that point what the scale said. Like, this doesn't lie. When this stuff's hanging off you, it doesn't lie. So if the scale is going to lie to me, and the scale does lie, even for men. So like, I know you said for women, the water weight, with your cycles and all that stuff that, changes throughout the month. For men, I think we have
cycle too.
We have Mansies. There's something to it. They haven't tapped into it yet, but there's completely something there that parallels that. And my weight just doesn't, like I can do all the right things and it doesn't go down for that week. And so anyway, excellent thing to focus on. This got way off track. Excellent thing to focus
I do
on.
want to say though, I don't think I lost 2 inches on my waist, that I add those collectively. Obviously 11 days is not enough time, but I'm also in my very first few shots. What do you call it? Like inflammation is coming down, which.
Yeah, you're shedding water. I mean, it's just like with keto. People are
right.
like, I lost 10 pounds in 10 days. Because you shed a lot of water when you start.
And you went to the bathroom every 5 minutes.
Right, exactly. And some people, conversely with Mounjaro, some people don't go to the bathroom for a few days. So at least numero dos. So that can mess with the scale too, especially for those that are on the, lower end of the spectrum of the weight. So all good information. Appreciate you sharing that. And I can't wait to just continue to follow up with you, because I think this is so helpful for those who are here on the stream that are losing their Mounjaro prescription and are, looking at getting on a semaglutide medicine instead of Mounjaro, and they're freaked out about it. And it's like, hear it from Chrissy. Like, you're having a great experience so far. I think that's awesome.
I just want to say I was apprehensive too, because I've seen all this success with Mounjaro, and I didn't want to be like getting the Walmart version,
Yeah.
But I just want to put that out there that I'm not type 2 diabetic. Yes, I have a thick family history of it.
Yeah.
But my insurance, I made sure it did cover it, but I'm getting it for free.
Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah. Semaglutide is not the great value version of Mounjaro.
Right.
It's another Post or what are the other cereal brands? Cheerios.
Right.
It's not the
Kellogg's.
bootlegos. It's not the bootlegos. Semaglutide is a great
raisin brand.
What's that?
Total raisin brand.
Total raisin. Yeah. With the good little covered raisins in it. Remember those? Are those still a thing? I don't know. I don't eat cereal because I'm scared of carbs. Anyway, we got off track. That's what we do, but that's what we're here for. Thank you, Chrissy, for sharing. I hope that you'll come next week. We do this again. I've got some exciting news about next week, actually, everybody. So just stay tuned. You're going to want to stay tuned to the end because I got some exciting news. But I want to have you back on next week. Thanks for coming on and sharing a little bit this week.
No problem.
Okay, thanks, Chris. We love Chrissy. I love her. I think by now you all love her too. She's awesome. Yeah, Bonnie. Bonnie said, take a moment to give Dave a thumbs up. Hit that like, hit that bell, hit that sub. Bonnie, I love your picture of your turkey. That's fantastic and random. So YouTube is in the middle of the mall crap. I don't know. I must have missed something. I first read Mall Cop. So I thought you were also watching Paul Blart Mall Cop while you were watching Man on the Mounjaro, which is totally be fine with me. He has one of those lines in there that peanut butter fills the cracks of the heart. I identify with that in a very big way. So yeah, appreciate it if you hit that like, hit that bell, hit that sub. Let's talk about next week. February 3rd is next week, right? Chrissy, nod if February 3rd is next week. Today is the 27th. That checks out math-wise. Next week we have a very special guest on live, not a pre-recorded, live. Want to know who it is? You got to stay tuned to the end, and you got to hit like, you got to hit the bell, you got to hit the sub, and you got to share this. And I'm going to share it with you in just a couple minutes. Chrissy, don't let me forget to share this before we're done. Some questions. There are some questions. So Sue, earlier in the stream, Sue the dude shared, do the pharmacies get reimbursed from Eli Lilly, and our insurance companies when we use a coupon, and how much does a pharmacy make? So if you go back and check my video from today about how the copay cards, the savings cards from the drug manufacturers work, you'll see kind of how that process works. And the balance that is picked up by the manufacturer, that goes back to help cover the cost for the pharmacy. So a reason why a lot of the pharmacies have acted weird with these coupons is because they process them improperly and they're afraid they're not going to be reimbursed. So the answer is, if they're reimbursed, yes. But the caveat is they had to process the coupon properly, or Lilly could say, no, we're not going to reimburse you. That said, with all the money that Lilly has and all the money that's wrapped up into Mounjaro and all the positive publicity, they're not going to do anything to screw that up, in your insurance or in your pharmacies are going to get paid. Trust me. And how much money does the pharmacy make? So it's cutthroat, right? So when these pharmacies buy from the warehouses, again, you can go back and watch my video from today, explains all this works. But when pharmacies buy from the wholesaler, like, they have to publish these medication prices now. I think like there's legislation that they have to publish this now. It's pretty close, but you might have a 10 to 20% variance between pharmacies. So that's something to check out too. You want to make sure that you check out the prices between different pharmacies, because it is different, and different pharmacies can charge more, which might end up leaving you paying more for Mounjaro. So hopefully that answers your question, Sue. And for the headache that the coupons charged, I bet the pharmacies would say, to your question about how much the pharmacies make, they'd go, not enough, in their defense. So Sue also followed up with, if you pay full price, how much does the pharmacy make and how much does Lilly make? So the pharmacy is probably making anywhere from 10 to 20% of what you pay, and the rest is going directly to Eli Lilly for their life-changing medication. Ms. Tapman said that her insurance covers Wecovy and that she's going to switch, but she hears Mounjaro is better. I think we've kind of covered that already, Ms. Tapman. Mounjaro was better in the Surmount trials. I want to say 22% at the 15 milligram dose for 72 or 76 weeks. Don't pin me down on the numbers here, but it was slightly better than Wecovy was, but not by a lot. And anecdotally, the mid-level providers that were on last week, Angie and Jenny, shared that really with the semaglutide versus the tirzepatide, their patients respond pretty well equally, except there's just a little bit more nausea typically with a semaglutide than the name brand Mounjaro. So that's what they shared. If there are any questions left, please put them in the chat. Ken Lee from Fat Guy No More, please check out his channel as well. He had an update. I haven't had a chance to check that out yet. I think it just posted today or yesterday. But if you haven't had a chance to get his channel, his is just as great as Jess's. I also have an interview with him if you want to check that out. But he said that prices can be different. Costco had 7.5 for $10,089, and he took it to CVS and got it for $1,037. So you can save some money, especially if you're somebody who's paying out of pocket like Ken is. There's a lot of people, Jess said, there's a lot of people that are having great luck on both Ozempic and Wecovy, and I agree with that, and I've heard that as well. So I think this is a great time to wrap it. Susie said one more thing. She's thankful for pharmacy folks. He, Sue the dude. And they're so helpful and supportive. I'm sensing perhaps an air of sarcasm in that, but I would have to say, in general, they're just trying to do their job, and they've been handed a crap show. So please, I would implore you, please be patient with them. You catch more flies with honey than you do with vinegar, right? If you're not getting somewhere with a certain person, No sarcasm, Susan. Okay, I can never tell with you, and to be fair, you understand why. Especially over just a text in the chat. Be patient. You catch more flies with honey than you do with vinegar. And if you're having a hard time with a certain tech, just cool, calm, collected. Just go, wait for somebody else, or transfer your prescription out. That's my best advice to you. But I appreciate each and every one of you joining the stream tonight. Thank you so very much. Especially thank Jess in process. Link in the description. Thank you, Chrissy, for coming on. Thank you all for being the best part of the stream. Thank you so much for joining. I hope that you all have an excellent week. I appreciate each and every one of you. You are the best part of what we do here, and I hope that you have a wonderful week. Thank you.